entered the building.
Place to be nation, welcome back to PTB NXT. And we might actually watch some wrestling this time and not a Jason Momoa film. I guess you'll find out soon. Let me bring in my co-hosts on here. Jennifer Smith. What's up, Jenny?
Well, I'm out. I thought we were here watching movies again. So I was here for Jacob Goodnight.
Oh, it's funny because we were talking about a very Jacob Goodnight topic before we actually started recording.
Right.
About someone with a giant penis, just like Jacob Goodnight.
A 3-foot dick?
And right on cue, Tim, what's going on?
Yeah, well, all I'll say is, spoiler alert, we might have seen more wrestling in Road to Paloma than we are going to see in these 3 episodes of NXT tonight.
That's a good point.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, if you do like the, people will, like these, quote unquote wrestling journalists will do those things where they like count how many minutes of wrestling there was on Raw. Like Raw was 3 hours long. There was 35 minutes of actual wrestling.
More like Raw is bore.
Whoa.
Sir.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway, so before we get into the name generator, we discussed this. I figured it's a new year. We're we're kind of off to a pseudo fresh start here. We had discussed doing this before. It is 100% cop from another podcast, but I figured we should do we will start to do the Cajun word of the month because we do this once a month. So yeah. I've just sprung this on you guys suddenly, but I feel like we've talked about it before. So I have a word for you guys. And so I think we'll be able to use it throughout the show too, which will be fun. So your Cajun word is going to be coullion. Coullion. Depending on coullion. So if you spell it formally, it would be like Coullion, but colloquially it is often spelled like Conyon.
Okay.
It's like cognac. But a coullion is a fool, essentially, like an idiot, a fool, a goober, some would say. So a coullion. So for example, one might say Enzo and Cass are a couple of couillons. So would you guys like to give it a whirl? I know you guys you've been saying it, but see if make sure we got this down. Tim?
No, I have a question. So
sure.
Formally, the spelling you said COU. Is there an X after the U, perhaps? Because I would like there to be an X in the middle of the word for no reason, because
right, yeah, that's kind of what we do here.
Yeah,
right. So I actually believe the true French, like a Marcus Louis, would frown upon the unnecessary X. But yeah, here in the humble Cajun land, people love to throw the X in. It's real fun. But yeah, we could throw an X in there. COUX YON.
Wow.
Coullion. You gotta put a little in it.
You gotta put some throat behind it. Coullion.
Like always. But I just don't know how I feel about being taught French words.
I'm very for it.
I know you are. I don't know.
Do you feel unpatriotic? Like you don't want to?
I don't know. I don't trust French words.
You don't trust?
Well, it's not real. It's like not real French words. It's
like a version, the dirty whore cousin of French.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Coullion. So
I'm good with that then.
And I will say, to add a little bit of context, it is usually not always said in the most vicious way. It is somewhat, I feel like the connotation is sort of like loving, like not loving, but like, you crazy fool. Like kind of like somebody you think is a fool, but they're kind of like your buddy, kind of.
Like Grooney.
Yes. 100%. Grooney would be the picture in the Cajun dictionary next to Coullion.
Coullion.
There you go. Grooney. Coullion Grooney.
Okay, so I am adding now to my list the Cajun word of the day, and I will track these as I track everything we do on this podcast.
It's a very original idea I had.
Sure is.
Yep, 100%. All right, speaking of gimmicks we have every episode, Tim, it's been a while, but do you have our previous gimmick names?
Yeah, I mean, we've been hanging in there. We got punished last time for not cooperating with the creative direction for our characters. Hence having to watch Road to Paloma in the Performance Center, which honestly I wish they had just released us. That was so torturous. But here's how it stands right now. We are currently, and for the past a few months now, I feel like we've been known as Jake, your buff needler. I am, of course, Lucky Benning, and Jenny, the lovely Maliqua Chowda.
Right.
You have to say Chowda like Taz.
Chowda.
Maliqua Chowda, Cole.
We have to just pretend now that every day we have.
Look at how Wilson eating up that chowder.
Like it's Hook. Like how people.
Oh man.
Send chowder.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So after our punishment of being tortured by watching Road to Paloma in the Performance Center, barricaded in a room by Triple H, we are going to get our new name. So I will now be known as Chase Hooch. So,
see, that works. I mean, you drink a lot, and
right. Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
Chase is the name.
Hooch, or is there a T in there or something?
Yes, Hooch as in the film Turner and Hooch. Starring Tom Hanks and a dog. Turner and Hooch, in that weird period between the 80s and 90s that is just like the strangest time period to me, like fashion-wise, everything's just, it's real weird. Sorry, sidebar.
That must have said
all right.
Decade.
Right. So, yeah, I imagine, look, I could be just like Hangman Page, the Hooch. I just drink a lot.
All right.
Drunk gimmick. Yeah. I like it.
Anxious millennial who drinks to cope with his problems. Very good.
They do say you should be yourself turned up to 11. So, all right, Tim, you are going to be Kyle Polebag. Some real basic basic first names, followed by some humdingers as last names.
Okay.
Polebag on a pole match.
Jesus.
All
right.
I don't. What kind of?
I feel like that's almost a personal trainer who becomes a wrestler type gimmick.
Like a modern Body Donis kind of thing.
Yeah, like this is a guy all the Performance Center gym bunnies go to, and he got sick of training other people and having all these young meatheads not listening to him, and went into business for himself. That's my backstory.
Do you think he carries poles like in a bag to beat people up with? Like,
yes, absolutely.
Like coming with the grocery cart full of shit. Like you just have a bag of poles.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. All right, Jenny, you are going to be Hans Covington.
That's
a villain from Die Hard.
I'm not just a wrestler. I'm an exceptional wrestler.
Hans Covington.
It's got to be like
Hans.
I don't know. It sounds royal. It sounds fancy. It sounds
masculine.
All rise for Hans Covington.
Or maybe like a valet for Tyler Breeze.
Manservant type of deal.
Right?
Jenny is Tyler Breeze's manservant.
Right?
Right.
Little tuxedo.
Yeah. Well, the tuxedo with the little flap on the back.
Yeah. The tangles.
Coattail. Yeah. Oh, I like it.
You're like his China, but you dress like Hunter Hearst Helmsley. The little tails and the.
And you're German.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're like a German aristocrat.
Yeah. That's it.
German aristocrat.
I think this is it. This might be the one for me, y'all.
Yeah, it sounds promising.
This gimmick.
You're German you speak German, but talking like a hoity-toity French accent.
Mm-hmm. Right.
These are all coullions. All right. All right. Well, I think we're destined for success, just like
I'm
we are
into
every
it.
month. Yeah. I cannot see how these are going to fail. All right. But we do have some NXT to talk here. Now that we've bullshit around for a good few minutes, we are fresh off of Takeover, and we are going to get back into NXT TV. We are near the end of the year 2014. We're going to be in December 18th, 2014. We get a lengthy recap of the events of Takeover that we covered a few months ago, and we are back at Full Sail, and we start with Neville in the ring, our former champion who has the mic, and he says that Sami should be out here. He gives Sami some props for winning the match, but announces that Sami will not be here due to the beating he took from Kevin Owens at the end of that show, where Kevin Owens hit him on the hardest part of the ring on the apron and presumably injured him. Owens comes out and Neville tells him, kind of gives him a scolding. Shame on you, man. Shame on you for what he did to Sami. Owens doesn't care. He just wants to fight and says that they can fight. And then he ends up dropping the mic. So quickly elevating Kevin Owens kind of into this, I guess, the main event picture as he beat up Sami, and now he's kind of feuding with Neville. But Tim, what did you think of this this opening little segment here where we had Kevin Owens come out and have a little back and forth with Neville?
Good stuff. It really is another pretty propulsive segment for Kevin Owens, who just insinuated himself into the main event scene here of NXT with that vicious attack on Sami, cutting short his victory at Takeover. You know what this reminded me of, actually, and this is kind of a weird analogy. So cast your gaze back to 1989, that strange period between the 80s and the 90s that we
of course
mentioned earlier. Ric Flair, fresh off of feuding with Ricky Steamboat and having defeated Steamboat to win back the WCW or NWA Heavyweight Championship in their rubber match, and didn't have long to savor that victory before old Terry Funk comes out and pile drives Ric Flair on the table. And so that puts Flair out for a little while, and we get this little, I don't know, placeholder feud between Funk and Steamboat, and they have that pretty good match at the one Clash, sort of between pay-per-views before Flair comes in. So we've got really Neville as the former champion playing that Ricky Steamboat role here, taking care of some of Sami's business, you can call it, keeping this feud hot, giving us something interesting to watch while Sami is out, selling the angle. So, and I've always enjoyed that approach, just because it gives you some variety to your matches. And it's good just to see different guys mixing it up, even if they're not directly feuding. So this is, and I'm not saying that's a deliberate callback or anything. It's just what I thought of.
Yeah, I automatically thought of that as well, Tim. So I'm glad that we're on the same page.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. No, but it's good. It's good to have somebody else, I think, in the mix here for a minute, just because we've been on Neville and Sami for a bit. And KO is just very hateable at this point. And shame on him. I agree with Neville. And the crowd loves Neville as much as we do, y'all. And it's going to be tough not having him be our champ.
Right. Yeah, I dug this too. I actually didn't think of that comparison that both of you guys did, but it's an excellent one. It fits perfectly. I like him being through as we get further in these episodes, as he's kind of establishing himself. I'm interested to see, or it was interesting to see, how he kind of approaches it, because you would think that the crowd is going to want to cheer him just on the surface, because he's a big name coming in at this point and stuff. Mm-hmm. So all the moves he does to try and make sure that doesn't happen. And I think he ends up doing a pretty good job of it. Of course, the Sami attack, but right here, I love that he doesn't really talk much. He just doesn't want to give anybody attention. So he's like, whatever, fuck it, I don't care. Drops the mic and leaves.
And he's such an asshole. He just feels
no selling Neville's passion. Neville's crying out to, shame on you, man. And he's just whatever, don't care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I dig it so hard. He just feels like a big deal in NXT, and I think we need more guys who seem like a big deal because, I mean, I feel like even people in here that we like a decent bit, they're still kind of, they feel very developmental at times, and like I feel like we need more like, yeah, like guys who feel big and like feel like main event stars,
like
and
senior leadership, sort of.
right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Which I guess we've started to see with him and Finn and stuff. So yeah, I enjoyed this whole segment quite a bit, and we'll see how it plays out. But we will head now to Becky, who's speaking with Devin backstage. She says that Sasha has opened her eyes to what it takes to reach the next level. Fans smiling doesn't matter when you're losing. And she says that Bayley's eyes better be open to see who's going to end her career. So very unique stuff here, as a heel is saying that they do not care about what the fans think. Here with Becky Lynch, Jenny. Were you feeling this Becky promo?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, she will end up a very, very good promo. But yeah, I mean, it's different sort of than what we've seen in the women's division. So, I mean, it's like we've seen like the what they call cattiness, which I fucking hate to say, but we've seen like the bickering. This is more like attitudinal, I think, like more flippant. So I don't know. I like this.
Yeah. So
I enjoyed it too. It's quick but effective, and I think part of the reason I was into this so much is we do get an explanation, such as it is, for Becky's change in attitude, which we hadn't really seen before. She just kind of abruptly turned on Bayley, which, I mean, we were all pretty in favor of, but it was very out of nowhere. So this is something that at least it's better than the very cliche heel promo of, I don't owe you any explanation, Devin. That's what I figured. That's what I figured we were going to see. And it wasn't that at all. And it also makes sense because it's kind of, it's sort of echoing the Kevin Owens stuff at the top of the card. It's Becky going, well, goddamn, I must be on the right track because this guy just came in, a total outsider who is playing, who's pretty much utilizing the same tricks I am, and look how well that's working for him already. So why can't it work for me? And so you got to figure she's feeling justified from the top down here in NXT.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid too. And I kind of give them a tally mark anytime they let the women have a promo that's not acting like they're 12 years old and like Mean Girls and stuff. Yes. At this point is, we've seen them kind of fall back. They've been moving away from it generally, but they kind of fall back on it sometimes. So I'm glad it wasn't this like, she was acting like an adult, was was an improvement from what we see on here a lot. And it's, the kind of setting, I kind of like the hierarchy they're starting to build in the women's division where you kind of have the pure heels in Sasha and Becky, and then Bayley's like a pure face, and then Charlotte's kind of in this, in between role where she's not really either one. It's working pretty well for her, I feel. So, all right. Unfortunately, someone else is working, and that's Tyler Breeze, because he is taking some time away to model in Europe, much to our chagrin. Very sad. I'm glad he's finding work in his, I guess, would modeling be his like primary career? Wrestling? I'm not sure.
It's questionable. He's
right.
I feel like he's sort of gone back and forth on this. At first, he was using the wrestling to enhance his modeling career. Seemed a dubious approach, and then he seemed like he was more committed to his wrestling than his modeling, because he must have just been getting so many hits, as an influencer on the gram, all those selfies and whatnot. He doesn't need to do conventional model work anymore.
And he had that hit music video.
The hit music video too. Thank you, Jenny. So who needs the runway? Fuck that life, right?
Well, so he's in Europe, I guess, and he might need to pick up a German valet, while he's over there.
Whoa.
Just saying, just tying in.
Right.
My servant is
by happenstance.
Mr. Covington. They start building it for like multiple months.
Yeah.
For the debut of Hans Covington.
Yeah.
Does he
Like that.
fall on stage and you rush up there to help him back to his feet, and that's your little meet cute?
That's not bad.
You go up and give him his amphetamines. You can keep
Sir.
up with his busy schedule.
Like have to organize all his clothes, like all his boots and fur and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like that modeling is so time intensive. Like you would think, like modeling gigs, he could probably like fly out there, go shoot whatever for a few days, and then kind of come back and wrestle. But apparently he's got to be like, he's got to be permanently there for a while. He must be doing a lot of modeling.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of work to look that gorgeous all the time. So, you know, it's a lot of beauty routines. You can't just show up at a photo shoot.
Right.
He wants
you
to get
just
some
do that on
time
your
in.
own. You need an assistant, right?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
He also wants to get it some time in his winter home in the Alps, no doubt,
true.
while he's over there.
Of course. Well, we'll miss you, Tyler. Can't wait for his return.
Yeah.
All right. It is announced that we're going to see Owens versus Neville tonight. So, huge match. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but we have Corey Graves on commentary. So, not a favorite of us in ring. So, we'll see how well Corey fares on commentary. I know it won't be hard for him to be an improvement because we've been pretty adamant in our hatred of most of the commentary on NXT, especially now that Mr. Regal is gone. So, we'll see if Corey is an improvement.
And they sort of make clear that this is going to be more on a regular basis. He's not just like a guest commentator or anything. Like they didn't really say why he's no longer wrestling, but he's going to be in the booth now as an addition to this team of Rich Brennan and Jason Albert on the show, I believe.
Albert and Renee and Alex Riley.
Yeah, all these clowns out there. So see if he can.
Come on, Tim. You had the perfect opportunity. Coullions.
You said it's used too affectionately. I can't talk about them with any degree of affection.
Okay.
They're clowns.
I hate these idiots. No, you're right. That's true.
That'll be our next word.
I have to think of a meaner word for an idiot.
Context matters. Yeah.
All right, so we'll get our first match here. It's going to be Bayley versus Becky. Albert, that we just mentioned, he is disgusted by Becky's recent behavior. He also says, this is a weird strategy. He says here that that Bayley should not wear, that she should wear the brace on the uninjured knee.
Yeah.
In that case, just don't wear it at all, because if you're not going to the injured knee, it's not going to help.
Sounds like a great strategy to end up with two injured knees, does it not?
Like, you wear it on the one that's not injured so they don't know which one to pinpoint. But okay, couldn't they just go back to when you heard it and remember, all right, it was the left one.
Hey, she's got a brace on her right knee. I'm gonna go after that. It's like, well, this knee was healthy, but
now it needs the brace.
He's so desperate to try and give some psychology to it that he ends up saying something just completely idiotic.
God, so stupid.
Oh wow.
All right, so you get lots of slugging with forearms. There was a cool sequence into the they call it the 4-leg clover, which is Becky's finishing maneuver, and it's not a very long match. It's very short. Bayley ends up tapping to the 4-leg clover after they kind of slug away at each other for a while. But I thought it was short, but fine for what it was, but just not really a whole lot of time to build too much of anything. I ended up going 1.5 stars on it. Jenny, were you surprised? I'll let you speak. Tell me, did you find it surprising that Bayley would lose? I was a little shocked that she would just lose so handily here.
Yeah, that was one of my notes. This is a pretty good match, but I kind of wanted to see Bayley win this, and that's weird for me in general. But to me, I don't know. I feel like it makes more sense to have her win. But yeah, I mean, 2 stars. I think Becky does look good, and they had some good sequences there before she finally tapped that. I don't know how I feel about her tapping either, but I think I like it better than a pin, so I'll take it. fine. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
pretty fine TV match for these ladies, Tim.
Right.
Yeah, I'm right in there with Jenny. I also gave it sort of a gentleman's 2 stars. While it is very short, I think that works and it makes sense because the knee does factor into the finish, and plus that is a sick submission. That kind of inverted figure 4. I don't know what. I wish she still did that because it looks so cool. And
maybe she'll bring it back.
To move like that, it looks like it's similar to one of those like Triple H mutant leg locks where it just looks so awkward trying to even apply it, and she just whips it right out like it's nothing. And just I love
like
when
LBJ.
somebody just has that.
I was waiting for it.
Sorry,
ma'am. I love when somebody has just that kind of ring IQ that they you just get the sense they know what they're doing and can pop off a finisher like from any position sort of thing. And that's the sense I got here in this finish. And keeps Becky looking really strong here against Bayley. I almost wonder I think Bayley does have a legit knee issue, and I can't remember if she misses any significant time or anything, but it seems like maybe that's an angle they're going to work or something here. So I was okay with it. I'm liking heel Becky here, getting some clean wins.
Yeah, not egregious or anything. That Jenny's such a coullion, huh, Tim?
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right. We get a WWE.com exclusive interview here as Renee speaks with Charlotte, who reveals that she just debuted on Raw. So Charlotte already making some appearances on Raw here. She actually gives Sasha a little bit of cred, saying that she's a tough competitor, et cetera, but this is her throne and she is genetically superior. So they're really pushing that as like her line, and I just wish they would kind of scrap that because it's just a weird line, like a weird thing.
Gross, right?
I think she says she's the most genetically superior. So she's it's real strange, but I did like her like kind of
genetically superior gene pool. Yeah, it's like there's a pool of talent that's all genetically superior. She's the most genetically superior to even them. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I've always been bothered by that line just because I think it does her a disservice. Like, I mean, we get it. They're trying to put over the fact that she's Ric Flair's daughter, but she's also like, a fucking beast, right? She's incredibly talented, and it's not just,
Also, she's blonde and tall, looks vaguely,
Yeah.
She probably don't need to be saying that.
Yeah, it just sounds so much like one of those just weird WWE phrases that they come up sometimes and they try and hammer in. It just sounds unnatural and weird. Yeah.
Like DMD.
But I did like her kind of cocky face energy aside from the genetically superior thing. I kind of like this whole, like I said, or like kind of tweenerish sort of thing. Didn't mind it. All right. We get now I only mention this because this Total Diva segment. We would end up seeing this about 7 times throughout this set of episodes, but it's I am sensitive, devilish, playful, beautiful. I am a total diva. It reminded me of a commercial, honestly, like a Pantene ad.
Oh God.
I am sensitive, devilish, playful, beautiful.
I thought they were
violent.
trying to sell me tampons. Like
right.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to watch Total Divas.
No, thank you.
It does. Yeah, it does feel like one of those very mid-90s concept-heavy cosmetics or toiletries marketed towards women kind of things. Yeah. Maybe for our next project, our side project, we'll have to do Total Divas or something.
Yeah, Total Divas Revisited.
No.
Jenny says no to that on the face of
Got
it.
vetoed quickly on that. Come on. Aren't you sensitive, devilish, playful, beautiful, sultry?
Total diva.
Right.
Total divas vetoing total divas.
See, I went meta.
Strong-willed.
Coullion.
Honestly, how do you feel about that whole coullions? Oh God, that
devilish coullion.
Like, so that was a thing they did for a good while, right? With the whole, okay, our women are taken seriously now, but we have a title called the Divas Championship, so we have to like, it's like, I don't know, we could rebrand it, or we, being who we are in our infinite wisdom of WWE Universe, we can reclaim the term diva, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can make this, like a good thing, and because it means this, that, and this, and that and the other, as this promo illustrates. How you feel about that whole reclaiming the word?
It's not a bad idea. I mean, I feel like that's a fairly decent attempt, maybe. I don't know.
It's an attempt.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not the worst thing that they've tried to do when it comes to women in wrestling, but yeah, it's just super dated, I think. And
right. I mean, they quietly gave up on it, I guess.
Which is good,
It feels like an admission of defeat, but they tried.
Yeah. But I mean, because all the girls are hot. I mean, what do you want? Like, they're fucking hot, and this is just women in entertainment, I guess. Really, flashy and hot, and I don't know. It works. It fucking works. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays they pretty much have like spin-off of Total Divas, like all these reality shows.
Yeah, and like, I'm sorry, kind of on a tangent, but I guess maybe related, but I feel like all the wrestlers now, the women wrestlers now, are also Instagram models, and but it's like, I can't tell if it's like a empowerment thing or like, I know a lot of thirsty dudes is going to buy this money type thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is the content that is required. This is what I am. So I'm going to do that, like a work, basically.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to say because wrestling in itself is so like based on like your physical image.
Right.
It's like, it's like, I guess they feel it's like a natural sort of companion, but you are right in saying that. I mean, it's becoming sort of a common thing that whenever someone who like became popular wrestling and they kind of leave the company or something, one of the first things they push is like some sort of social media platform, like, like they have a Twitch channel or some shit like that. And that sort of becomes like that becomes like their main deal after that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's to me, it's fascinating because it looks like business. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like a branding situation and stuff. But then it's like, how far do you go with that? I don't know. I got weird.
It's also, well, yeah, I get what you're saying, because it's also like right on the line of what the company will tolerate as far as like self-promotion of their, contracted superstars. We saw that blow up when I can't remember who it was who did the Twitch channel. Was it Lana?
I think it was Selena Vega, maybe.
Yeah.
Was it her?
That sounds right. And it was like, nope, you can't do that. You're a WWE talent. You can't be representing yourself and our brand that way outside of WWE programming. And it's like, okay. And they'll even get on people's, Twitter presences, for lack of a better word, but an Instagram picture. I mean, a selfie is just a selfie, right? It's like they'll allow that because it's like we can't stop you from just having an Instagram. I mean, I guess they could, but they don't. So far anyway. It's like, okay, you can have an Instagram, you can have a Twitter, but it's like this is about as far as you can push it under our watch.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm thinking of like a Mandy Rose, right? So like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
her stuff on there is quite I feel like it's quite different than what they're trying to do right now. I don't know, it's like I can't really tell what she doesn't feel like a champion to me. I don't know. She just feels like I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Instagram model, like.
Yeah, and I don't mean it like that. I just
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to tell, like, is she using what is she using? Which one is she using and what for? Like Tyler Breeze, like which one are you? You know?
Right. Are you a wrestler
to bring
model?
it back to NXT.
Which lane are you in?
Right, yeah. And it's like it's fine. Like it's awesome. Like if I look like that, fuck yeah, I would probably do whatever I wanted to, but it's like I don't know.
Right. Yeah. We really went some places on off of that goofy. No, I mean this is the deep analysis you get on PTBNXT. We took a goofy ass Total Divas ad and went into a deep dive into the relationship between female wrestlers and their presence on social media and perception.
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Media Studies on PTB NXT.
So on a similarly intellectual note, I have a note here because we got this Lucha Dragons promo. Do you think the Luchasaurus is a descendant of the Lucha Dragon? Is the Lucha Dragon like a mythical beast, and the Luchasaurus is they found the fossils? Is that really? I don't know. I feel like it's got to be
found
the
Lucha
fossils. Like like a dragon is like a mythical beast that's not really found in reality, but a dinosaur would be real. So I don't know. I was just pondering the relate. There's got to be some. I don't think this is a coincidence of a Luchasaurus and Lucha Dragon.
I like
continue on the intellectual conversations we're having. I just thought I'd extend it in a different manner.
But. Yeah, well, I think the Luchasaurus and the Lucha Dragons were natural enemies during the Saurian period, and perhaps they died in battle. And their bones, their remains were uncovered at the same time, sort of together, right? It was a bit of a jigsaw puzzle that had to be sorted out. But they actually managed to assemble the Lucha Dragons faster than they could the Luchasaurus on account of his size. As the larger of the two creatures, it took much longer to get the bones reassembled for the Luchasaurus in order to reanimate. This is what we're saying, right? They found the fossils, right. And once you got them back together, they were reanimated mythically.
Right. I'm literally stroking my chin as you explain this to me.
Right. I mean, I believe that's how that works.
I mean, the Luchasaurus is for sure bigger than a dragon, though. I don't know. I don't know about the size difference.
I think it's one of those things where the scientists got it wrong. They got it backwards. They thought, here's what happened. This is exactly what happened. They after they separated the bones of the Lucha Dragons from the Luchasaurus, they thought that the Lucha Dragons were going to be one creature because of the vast assortment of bones, and it turns out, there's two of them. They're actually twins. They were pack predators,
right,
during the Saurian period, but they had already submitted the name to the prehistoric naming academy, and it had already been accepted. So just a little bit of trivia for you guys. It's funny. They got it backwards. They should be known. The Lucha Dragons should be known as the Luchasauruses. And the Luchasaurus should be known as the Lucha Dragon.
All right, I'm going to reach out to him on Twitter and let him know.
Mm-hmm.
Bones.
Their bones. Building my bones. My home.
All right. Continuing with this very intellectual and bookish episode of PTBNXT, we have William Regal reading a large volume of literature back at his office when he's accosted by the Vaudevillains. They show him some footage of them being pinned at TakeOver by the illegal Lucha Dragon. I love that throughout this they use their phones to show. They're like iPhone to show them the footage. They're supposed to be like these guys who are stuck in 1912 or something, and they pull out their phone to show them. That kind of popped me. But anyway, he kind of, in his normal Regal sort of reluctant way, kind of gives them their requests, even though he kind of like begrudgingly gives them their requests for a rematch. So it looks like we will get that, and hopefully it will be a step up, because I know we were a bit disappointed in the match at the at TakeOver. So we'll see.
Yeah. So they get a do-over here, but not tonight, sunshine. Show's all booked up.
Right. Yeah, they had to make sure they had room for our next match, which is going to be Bull Dempsey versus an untitled jobber. Sorry, not jobber. Enhancement talent.
Please.
Local competitor. No one named.
I wrote this guy.
Right. They do not. I tried to find his name and could not. But, yeah, he gets thrown around for a little bit, and then Bull Dempsey squishes him with his old Bull Dempsey squish move. And it seems in my notes I left the rating blank. We are going to give I'm going to rate it untitled, since it was
untitled. Okay.
The enhancement talent was not given a name. So untitled rating on this one.
I like it.
Thoughts? Yeah.
Well, a Bull Dempsey squash match gets 2 stars from me every time. So.
Wow. Whoa. 2 stars for your squash.
No,
2 Susas.
I 2.
No, it's nothing. It's not.
Dud from Jenny.
Yeah. I mean, I like him.
Yeah.
Right.
This just went right in the automatic star generator, and got a half star for me. Made my life easy. Didn't have to think about it. I do like that it's of a piece with our next match.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
So,
It's really, we should probably just kind of talk about this all as one. So Corbin comes in right after they get kind of a stare down. Corbin comes to the ring. I love the idea that, like, where did this other guy come from? Because it is a different enhancement talent.
I wrote down Baron Corbin versus local teleporter.
Yeah, like, where did he come from? He snuck out from under the ring.
No break.
No break, no entrance. He was just like waiting to get his ass handed to him. But this guy also didn't have a name. I called him the man. What do I have in my notes? The man with long hair? I don't know. No, tall hair. Sorry. The man with tall hair. I thought that was
tall hair.
I thought that was it. I think, did he have like high hair? I can't tell if I meant to put long hair, if this is an autocorrect here or what. But
he was just a tall-haired teleporter. What do you want?
Right.
There's a
Baron
gimmick.
Corbin, the lone wolf versus the tall-haired teleporter.
God.
Rich is really pushing that Baron Corbin is imposing, but he does the end of days, and I'm going to give him, since he's the lone wolf, he's going to get a lone star for this match, 1 single star.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know. I'm not.
It is.
Why? Why does he get 1 star?
These are non-canon ratings, okay?
Okay.
Well,
they probably both be. They probably both be 1s. I don't know. Who cares?
To back you up a little bit, I'll just say that there is a little bit more to it than your just conventional squash, because it's like these are 2 squash match specialists kind of responding to one another, so they kind of play off of one another. There's a little bit more. Look, I'm not saying it's Shakespeare, but there is a little bit where they play off of each other, and it's more intriguing than your basic Bull goes out there, squashes the guy, we get a commercial and come back.
Yeah.
So having said that, I still, went half a star on this one too, but I don't know. Maybe the whole, if you're taking it as a package deal, the entire thing of the two matches is maybe a star.
I
I guess you could look at it that way.
There you go.
I think I just wanted to make my stupid joke about Lone Star, Lone Wolf. If I'm being honest, I just wanted to make a stupid joke.
Wanted to make a stupid joke. Yeah.
But I like Tim's actual reason.
Yeah,
it was pretty
he
good
does
too.
have tall hair.
Yeah, I was wondering. In my notes, I have man with tall hair, and I was like, did I mean long hair? And
No, it's like
yeah, I think it had like a
mohawk, but it's like all of his hair, not just a strip of it. If that makes sense. Like,
right.
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck that guy is.
Right.
Right.
We have a post-match altercation. Bull hits Baron with a shove and kind of scampers away. So, I don't know. I guess they're trying to make Bull, I guess, if there's going to be a heel in this whole thing, it's him. But I don't know. How'd you feel about him scampering away? Did it seem like I guess they played off like he's playing mind games. So maybe that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it just looked like a fuck you kind of shove, not like a let's fight kind of shove.
Yeah.
It looked sort of bitchy, and I sort of enjoyed that. Which plays into, hey, I'm just trying to get under your skin, and I guess you could interpret it as like, oh, he's such a pussy running off, but it seems very calculated what he was doing here.
Right. But I haven't minded this. I think
right.
They could both be doing a lot worse.
Yeah.
Than what they're doing with this.
Certainly.
All right, we get some footage from Takeover. They show Sami getting stretchered out after it's like he's in a fucking coma after get on the apron. Like it's like they stretcher him out of the building. He is seriously hurt from that. I guess it's the hardest part of the ring after all.
Hardest part of the ring, pal.
He's roughed up. All right, and then we will go to a match that I know Jenny is really excited for. It's going to be Enzo and Cass versus Ascension. So they do this whole spiel about what was it? Like they say something about giving us 12 days and you're going to get beat by a certified G. It's just full on. They do like their normal little thing, Enzo and Cass, and then they go on this whole other thing. Corey Graves not amused though. He does not like. He is very unamused by their whole spiel here. Cass controls, but they get a blind tag to Enzo, who immediately just gets destroyed and loses to the Ascension, like completely cost them the match. And Corey has already scored some points here because he says, "Bada boom, dumbest guy in the room." great line, but. They frame the whole thing as that he's trying to get in there to impress Carmella, so that's the reason why he went in there like a coullion, if you will, and cost his team the match. But I love the bada boom, dumbest guy in the room. But this was I ended up going 0 on this.
Yes,
because it really wasn't a match. Really, it was just like Enzo jumps in and gets his ass beat. It was kind of more of an angle than anything else, but the bada boom, dumbest guy in the room is maybe one of the best non-Regal commentary lines we've seen since we started the show.
Way better than the stupid knee pad thing from earlier, but yes. This is like 0, and which is fine. I mean, I still like them. They're fun to watch on this show. The Ascension can fuck off forever. I really don't give a shit and whatever with them, but whatever, it's fine, Tim.
Okay, so this is where doing star ratings for this show, week after week, episode after episode, kind of breaks your brain.
Yep.
Because all right, so y'all both gave this a dud, fat 0. I gave it 3/4 of a star, which is a terrible rating, right? Yep. But compared to you guys, it sounds like light years better. It sounds like, holy shit! I mean, you fucking massively overrated this match. It's like by giving it a slightly better yet still awful rating as a wrestling match. You sort this in a spreadsheet. It's certainly not making anybody's top GW anything, right?
Mm-mm.
And yeah, so I can't explain why. I apparently found it so much more appealing than you guys. I think I just thought it was going to be a real match, which I did not want to see between these two teams.
Yeah.
And so I rewarded it for getting out of there like
Look,
immediately.
that's fair. I feel like that's
And
fair.
I don't know. I just thought it was funny seeing Enzo eat shit
Yeah,
so
it was.
quickly like that.
It is an interesting dynamic for a tag team because, like, of course they've had tag teams where you have a big guy and a little guy, but not where you have a little guy who's like so incompetent that he's just a complete liability at all times. Like, it's actually a kind of a fun dynamic for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
just
with
go
all the
like
fucking
to just
swagger
right.
too, and the confidence that fucks you up.
Like, just to go
And,
like to
yeah.
the nth degree with it. Like, instead of him being like, well, he's kind of the weak link, like, no, he's like can't wrestle at all. If he gets in the ring, they will lose.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Or you'd see like the little guy get in there and you get the heat segment, or he takes a big move or something, but the partner saves it, and here it's like that first big move, he's done. Like Cass doesn't even get in there and try to save him. It's just like, what the hell? That's all we get.
Why y'all letting Enzo start matches? Dumbass.
Yeah.
Right. But what I meant to say earlier is that they do the 12 days of Christmas is what I was trying to say.
I was. Oh.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't know. I had some of my notes about 12 days.
Christmas adjacent episode of the show. Somehow we're still in 2014.
Right.
Yes.
So
despite starting this podcast 11
5G.
years ago, we've almost finished our first calendar. I'm sorry. Anyway.
We work on our own.
I blame no one for that, by the way. It just is what it is.
I blame Jake.
Hey, look,
blame Jake.
I feel like we've kept up pretty well.
Yeah, we're
just,
not bad, actually.
It's just like
we've been a podcast that comes out. Yeah,
2014 is just the longest year ever.
Not saying it comes out frequently, but it comes out.
The Ascension say that they have proved themselves for 2 years, and TakeOver was beginner's luck, and we will rise. So I'm sure you guys are very stirred by this Ascension promo.
That's one way to put it. Yeah.
Annoyed, stirred, whatever.
Shook.
All right.
Shaken, but not stirred.
All right, let's get
Worst
to something
joke
better.
ever.
It's gonna our main event, which is gonna be Neville versus Kevin Owens. Albert tells us that Neville's had trouble sleeping and eating, and then it had me. Then this, since we're being, over analyzing everything on this episode, it had me thinking, like, what does Neville eat? Like, what do you even eat to look like he does? Like, what does he eat? Just like
raw eggs.
Just like pure protein. Steamed chicken breast.
Yeah.
Stardust. Cosmic energy.
IcoPro.
He consumes the fabric of the universe. That's the only way that someone becomes this incredible as a physical specimen. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And athletic specimen.
He's had trouble sleeping. And then Albert says something about Kevin Owens being uncouth, and Corey Graves says, "It's not about couth, Albert." Fun line. It's not about couth, Albert.
What is couth? How can you be uncouth?
Like culture. It's like
but you don't say that guy's couth. Like,
It's not about couth.
Yeah.
I had a friend who referred to one of my family members as I can't remember what the context of the situation was, but she goes, "You have no culture, you have no couth."
It's like a William Regal line.
Right?
It did sound like a William Regal. It's actually very true and like cutting. Even though I'm not sure that person knew what couth meant either. But I was like, God, that's pretty harsh. But I was like, well, I can't really defend it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of couth in my family.
No, Kevin Owens, no couth, no manners. All right. So we get into the match. Owens keeps stalling to avoid Neville's kind of early barrage. I kind of didn't mind his stalling. Like I said earlier, it's like I feel like he's actively trying to make sure the crowd doesn't like him. And so rather than go in and do a bunch of cool moves, he just keeps stalling and makes sure in the early part of this match he's not going to get cheered because the crowd is pissed off because they obviously want to see these two guys wrestle. So I didn't mind the stalling here because I thought it worked for what he was trying to get over. He finally lures Neville out of the ring, and Neville pays for it with what they call a meat hook clothesline here. KO starts wearing him out at I called it a moderate pace, not really a slow pace, but very a touch above methodical, I'll say. He hits a lot of his signature stuff here. So like now he uses this as a time to really get his move set over, which I thought was cool. Like now that the crowd is kind of pissed off at him for stalling, then he hits the cannonball. He's talking shit the entire time. Neville kicks him in the neck and just unleashes on him. He catches Neville again and lays in a gut buster, spikes him with the top rope with a pretty sick, it's kind of like the Orton hanging DDT, but he did it off the top rope. But just tons of big bombs by Kevin Owens. Neville comes back and snaps off a German. Neville ends up hitting the post, and they both kind of fall out of the ring, and we get the dreaded double count out. But I'm not going to lie, I did not expect a clean finish, so I guess I wasn't super disappointed just because I was kind of expecting some kind of bullshit at the end, but I thought it picked up nicely after they kind of started with Owens doing the heel stalling. I thought once they really picked it up, they were both kind of throwing off bombs and a good dynamic. And I think Tim mentioned it earlier, a good change from, we had the Sami Neville stuff where it was a lot of them just like they're both just great athletes or whatever. And now we kind of have a contrasted styles where Kevin Owens is kind of more the powerhouse sort of guy against Neville, who's the supreme athlete. But I went 3 1/4. I didn't think it was too bad for something that was more just to kind of open things up and to have Kevin Owens' first #real match here in NXT.
Kevin's got that bandage over his nose, and he should really put it on his other nose so that Neville doesn't fuck with it too much.
Focus on.
But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I didn't expect a clean win here, but so it's like whatever with the double count out. But KO was looking dominant as shit, and it's kind of had me shook watching Neville get thrown around like that, honestly. And he seemed kind of shook too. So I don't know. He got some shit in, but this was all for KO, like you said, getting all his shit in. And I did 2 3/4, so I feel like that's probably pretty fair. This was pretty short and a decent enough main event, Tim.
Yep, I went 2 3/4 as well. I will forgive the count out finish also, just because I think on the basis of just getting this match is kind of a treat. You don't really expect it, but they do go out there and have a quote unquote real match. But you've already sort of booked yourself into a corner, so you got to just do the screwy finish. I mean, other than that, maybe, I mean, you don't even really want to give KO or Neville a DQ win because that's still a loss on KO's record, right? So I sort of like that it's a double count out. Really doesn't count against either guys. It's essentially a no contest, right? It's cancels. They just cancel each other out, and that's fine. And yeah, it's very unusual to see Neville take such a shit kicking out there. Seeing him as such the dominant athletically gifted champion that he's been, and to just get pounded on for so long here. Gets a couple of hope spots, but Jenny, like you said, it's really all KO with this really pretty sick moveset that that rope drape DDT and the cannonball, which we'd seen before on that takeover. But just seeing more of his arsenal come out here in this match, it looks pretty impressive. We still have Owens post-match. I don't want to step on your toes, Jake, but KO is going to look like he almost in a way gets the visual win with what he does, beating Neville after the match, with that, again, bringing out that ring apron power bomb, really getting that over as like a murder death kill kind of finish. Like you see somebody do that, like it's going to be outside of the confines of a normal match. Like it's just got that extra degree of fuck you on it, I feel like. So I like seeing that again also. But yeah, it's just neat I'm just glad this match exists in this window where we're kind of not going to see a whole lot of Neville again here at NXT, and we are going to see quite a bit more of Kevin Owens. So not just ships passing in the night.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I like the post match too. I like that they went back to the power bomb, gets him over as a monster, and they've aside from poor Itami, they're doing a pretty good job of, I feel like, getting over these guys that are coming in between KO and Finn. They're kind of ascending pretty quickly, but it doesn't feel like overdone. It doesn't feel like forced, like the crowd's into them and stuff. And I did like, I have to say, I'm glad he's sort of moved away from his character when he was wrestling Corey Graves. That is, and that, like, I liked here that he's sort of been playing up the heel role, but even he doesn't like the Owen stuff, like when he power bombs Neville on the apron. So it kind of adds another level of like disgust to it. But I've kind of liked Corey. I don't know, what did you guys think, since this is our first experience with Corey on commentary? I think I liked him a bit because compared to a lot of our other commentators, he at least didn't seem like a complete goofball, like an idiot. He was at least more neutral. Like he sounded like not a dumbass, I guess, is what I'm saying.
He picked his spots, is what, like it, nothing he was doing was revolutionary, but it was pleasant enough. And just like you said, a right amount of like sort of heel energy, but just cool overall. Like the other two are not. So he just brings like a little, I mean, just depending on your definition, but a little bit of the cool factor, maybe.
Yeah, and plus he actually shows a little bit of personality, personality in a way that's not just a stupid cartoon moron, right? We're
a dumb baby.
We're finding new and original ways to shit on this NXT commentary.
This has been a fucking masterpiece.
Well, I mean, I don't know. He's more cut from the mold of like a Jesse. Or look, he's a far cry from Jesse Ventura, but you can see like that's sort of who his influence is going to be versus a Jason Albert, whose influence is probably
cocaine.
Yeah. The blue elephant in the Star Wars band in the canteen, like,
It's like his inspiration. That blue elephant. Love that fucking guy.
The Max Rebo band. There it is. Took me a while I got there. But it's like he's a serious quote unquote heel commentator character is what he's doing. So he's sort of adrift with this, confederacy of dunces surrounding him, but at the same time, it really makes him, I don't know, in a way, it probably makes him come off better than he really is. Probably. Like if he was out there with actually, skilled early 90s Tony Schiavone and actual Jesse Ventura, it'd be a different story, but
true.
Great on
a competent commentary team, this is not. So he really really shines a light on him, and I guess it gives him a chance to develop to the point where once you do start seeing him on like the bigger shows, it doesn't feel so out of place, because it's like, oh yeah, he's been doing commentary forever, and you forget about the fact that it was with mostly idiots.
All right. So that ends this episode. This is a hard one for me to grade, because usually if I dig the main event, if they could give me anything else underneath that, it usually makes for a pretty solid one. And I did like the the Becky Bayley match was cool. We got some development of some other things, even if it wasn't always fantastic. I'm leaning 5. It might be generous, kind of on the back of the main event and kind of the opening promo segment, and not as much stupid baby shit in the middle. So I'll give it a 5.
Yeah, it was a 5 for me too. Mixed, but these usually are. Nothing that made me want to puke though, so it's fine.
Yeah, 5 sounds about right. Just right on down the middle. It is a tough one to grade, but it's an easy watch, strong TV main event, and like you said, nothing that makes you want to kill yourself in between all of that.
All right. Okay, so our next one is a special edition of NXT, and that it aired on Christmas Day 2014. So we're almost there, Tim. We're almost in the new year. So they kind of do just like a Christmas best of show. So a lot of it was just, clips of shit we've already talked about. But there were a few that I thought were worthy of it. If you guys had anything that, besides what I start getting into, that you want to talk about, go ahead. But the first thing that stuck out to me is they do this entire segment where it's like Neville going back to his hometown in, England. I'm trying to remember the exact place. What was it?
Kingston, I believe.
Kingston.
No.
I don't know. I didn't know what it was. Somewhere in England, but
visit me, mom.
Yeah, to visit his mom. So good to see you.
It's gonna be coming up here. I've got it playing now, so I'll tell you as
right. So he's there visiting his mom, and they kind of go over his youth and growing up and stuff. And one line that popped me is that, of course, they talk about that he wanted to be a soccer player, a footballer. But the mom says, most Geordie lads want to be a footballer, which got me. He talks about how he loved WrestleMania 10, was his favorite growing up. They kind of show where he started training at. And I dug the mom, too, being completely honest whenever she says
Newcastle.
They're like, Newcastle. There we go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, extremely British name. Uh-huh. But, because he talks about the beer. That's true. I remember he says, like, we're famous for football and beer. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just made him British Bulldog. All British British Bulldog to me. But I like the mom straight up saying that she didn't support him at first.
Yeah.
She was like, no, I didn't want him to do it. Seemed like a stupid idea.
Surprise me, Mom, because I'm bizarre.
Yeah. But I don't know. I didn't mind this. It was interesting. I didn't mind seeing where Neville comes from, and we love Neville here. I don't know. Any thoughts on this? Neville goes home to see his mom.
I kind of loved it too. I thought it was really charming. A little oddly placed though. Well, maybe not, because does it feel like a farewell? I don't know. But he looks so adorable. Like he's wearing his little glasses and he has his little ponytail, and I don't know. He just seems like a really nice guy. I don't know a better way to say it. Like he just seems like sweet and humble, and like he loves this place and his mom. It was cute.
It's a good example of a thing that this company is not very good at, which is making one of their stars look like an actual human being. So that always gets points from me. My other single note that I took away from this segment is Neville posing ominously in front of the giant Wicker Man totem. That was pretty cool, I thought. There's no explanation. It's just a neat backdrop for a photo op.
It's funny, too, to look back on this, considering that, for a good portion of the rest of his career, his whole character is going to end up being like a bastard and all this, and he's in this wholesome like thing. I thought it fit the Christmas theme, too. I thought that sort of fit.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
This, right, like wholesome little thing, but good for him. Before we get to what is the main focus of the show, which is the one non-repeat match that we get Curtis Axel comes in to speak with William Regal, and he tells him that he wants to come to NXT, and Regal just completely big times him and tells him he needs an appointment, which Completely. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
We'll see Curtis. Like Curtis is doing like I'm from the main roster. I'm just coming here to kind of show what I have. And he's like, I don't know about you, buddy. We'll see. Talk to my secretary.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. And we'll see more of him later. But unless you guys have anything else that you picked up, like I said, most of this was just clips from stuff we've talked about. Anything else besides this, the main attraction, main event match here?
I did like the holiday greeting from Tyler Breeze. I guess coming live from from the runway in Europe, he wishes all of his "Wanna Breeze" a Merry Christmas.
He says, "It's me, your hero, Tyler Breeze."
Yeah.
Very presumptive.
Says that the only thing that he is going to be adding to his ensemble in the new year is gold. So very suggestive there. And beyond that, so again, we get a follow up with Bailey, who she's still hurting. She's hurting because she had the brace on the injured knee. What a mistake, right? Apparently she's watching some classic Triple H matches as motivation.
Yeah.
Nursing up that injury.
And then she does a Triple H impression.
Yes. And finally, throughout all of this, the hosts, Renee Young and Corey Graves, are standing in the empty performance center in the middle of the ring. For some reason, Corey Graves sounds like he's talking as if he just got the baby down for a nap. He's doing this very, quiet voice thing.
Sure.
Maybe it's just because it's like the empty arena or whatever, and you feel like you have to talk hushed or something. I don't know.
It was weird. It was putting me to sleep, quite honestly. All right, so that's all I had.
He did speak, and it's weird too because like they're such control freaks about everything. Like if they didn't want him to talk quietly, they would have just told him something and reshot it.
Speak up, pal.
Right, so it makes it seem like they're like, no, speak in a hushed tone. It's gonna be your thing, Corey.
Too loud, too much energy.
All right, but the main attraction of this is that we get a rematch of Charlotte and Sasha from TakeOver. Rick comes out and he puts over Sasha and Charlotte, and how great Charlotte is. As you'd expect from Rick, they're all over each other from the start. Charlotte goes right at the leg. Even I don't know how she knew what leg to go after. Given that I don't think
no indication whatsoever.
Yeah, there's no brace. I mean, why even bother?
Blind. Yeah.
Right. Sasha slows it down in there. I thought they had some nice intensity throughout this. They trade some neck breakers, and it looks like I like that way that they were linking all their stuff together. There weren't a ton of dull spots in between. They transition well. Sasha gets the bank statement, but Charlotte gets the ropes. They do a superplex, but when they come down, they are both wrecked, and they were both selling it really good. They both look like they had the shit knocked out of them, and great small package by Sasha as Charlotte's going for the figure four. She kind of has it scouted and rolls her up, but Charlotte's able to survive and lock in the figure four and gets Sasha to tap. So this was pretty hot shit, guys. I enjoyed this pretty well. I thought it was a nice compliment to the TakeOver match. I like the call, not really a callback, but just kind of playing off that they've wrestled before with. To me, that was a spot of the match when Sasha reversed the figure four into the small package. It was very unexpected and good, and just good intensity. Really beat the piss out of each other. Another good marquee match on NXT. I went 3 1/4 on this one as well. Jenny, what did you think about your girl Charlotte?
My girl Charlotte, she looks good. That's how I feel about it.
Hand just went down the pants like Al Bundy.
Yeah, I just really went to a different spot.
Sir.
Anyway, it was a great battle, I thought, and kind of unexpectedly great match buried on this crazy ass recap show. But yeah, I mean, Sasha's thrash based offense actually was a little bit more focused, I thought, and she kept mocking Rick, which I enjoyed, And I like the bank statement. It looks good. Like, Charlotte makes Sasha look good, really good. And the figure 4 into the bridge will always mark out for that shit. So a hot match, like you said, great finish. 3.5 stars, Tim.
So yeah, you mentioned the thrashing offense from Sasha, Jenny, which we do see a bit throughout this match, especially in the sort of early going. But and it led me to believe it's like, it's the tale of two Sashas, right? Sometimes she's this pretty like well-rounded wrestler out there, just carrying a match, showing a lot of aggression, and other times she sort of regresses back to that whole cat fight bitchy bullshit stuff that we really didn't like seeing so much of in the early goings of this podcast. But she kind of gets it together as things progress here, showing more variety to her offense and taking control and actually having a pretty long and decent heat segment on Charlotte. So I was impressed by that, and I don't know if that was by design or she just got off to a shaky start and then recovered. But yeah, I thought Sasha looked pretty good here. What if that was a little bit of a carry job by Charlotte? Sure, why not? If it works, it works. Maybe she's just trying to work up to Charlotte's level. I could see that certainly going on as well. Weird moment where I think Rich Brennan calls, I don't know what move he was trying to call it. Maybe that backstabber that Sasha does to transition into the bank statement. He says something like, "Oh, it's the bankrupt," and it's like, I don't think they ever called it that. Like he's trying to he's trying to get a new move name over that just did not take. So I don't know, that was a little bit weird. Oh no, it was, I think it's the it's that like that double crossface sort of, I mean, it looks like a glorified rest hold that she does. He called that the bankrupt for some reason. It's like, I don't think this is a named move, dude. So
it's gonna
anyway,
be, goddamn.
Because yeah, it was well before the backstabber and bank statement, which was a pretty good like false finish for Sasha here. Like I kind of could buy into maybe they hot shot the title to her, given that Charlotte is moving onto that main roster here in short order, it seems like. But ultimately, and yeah, that superplex was really sick. Ultimately, it all comes down to Charlotte, with that figure 8 looking as fine as ever, getting the clean win, another solid win for Charlotte over Sasha. I went 3 stars on this, which sounds like more critical than you guys, but I'm not really. I had it like a skosh lower than their takeover match, which was like 3.25 for me. So I am lower on these matches than you guys, but not significantly.
She just locked in the bank job.
The bank job.
The bankroll.
The small package. Oh, it's the bankroll.
Okay,
I don't know.
Bank teller. Sorry, Rich. All right.
Hits her with a lyric. Look at that run on the bank.
Of course, you say, stop,
shit.
Rich. Stop.
Yes.
Just can't stop it.
I'm just going to start naming moves and shit. Just make up shit.
Go into business for yourself.
Get it over, yeah.
Go, Rich.
Yep.
All right. Well, we didn't really give a rated episode because there wasn't a whole lot of original content. So we will head on to our third and final for this set. Tim, we are finally in the year 2015, as this episode is dated January 1st, 2015, New Year's Day, 2015. We start off with the Lucha Dragons, and they're going to be facing Ty and the piece of shit Jason Jordan.
Starting this year as we started the previous, I feel like, with the Jason Jordan match that Jenny is going to shit on, I'm sure.
Renee gives a reference that is very appropriate for this podcast. As we've had some.
This is wild. Yeah.
I don't think on the pod. I don't know if we talked about it on the pod or not. I don't remember, but Renee says that Ty and Jordan's manscaping is on point.
Is on point. What are we doing?
Yeah, we've ranted about manscaping. I believe off air, but yeah, it's funny that would come into play here.
Well. We've ranted about Renee's commentary on air, and it's
yeah.
I don't know about you, Corey, but I don't see a single pube.
Totally hairless.
I think that's just her sly attempt to like comment on things that dudes have been commenting on for a very long time. I don't know if she meant it that way or she's trying to be cute, but I don't know.
I never know with Renee.
Yeah.
It's
I've heard Jerry Lawler talk, so it's like,
uh-huh.
she didn't say anything that bad, but it just felt,
you got a point there.
We get a big chop exchange between Ty and Kalisto. The challengers derail the high flying stuff and lock in some rest holds until we get a hot tag to Sin Cara. And they whiff pretty badly on a Rana attempt at this point, but they kind of recover, and Sin Cara hits a sunset bomb to finish off Ty for the neat win. The Dragons roll on. I win 1.5 on it. Just kind of instead of a non-competitive squash, it was a semi-competitive squash, I'll say, for this one. Mainly just to get the Dragons out there, show their stuff, and get them a good win. So... there we are.
Okay.
Any strong feelings?
Yeah, I was a little slightly higher than you at 1 3/4 stars. Again, this is trying to star rate these TV matches on NXT is just probably a fool's errand. But
Coullions errand.
Coullions errand. Thank you.
Hey.
The story of the match, such as there was one, is like the Luchas trying to counter power with speed. And it's more of a sprint of a match than anything. It's the Lucha Dragons just preventing Jordan and Dillinger from, wait for it, building any momentum, you guys. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I guess I rewarded it slightly higher than you, Jake, for the really cool finish plus the post match, which we'll get to.
Yes, so I guess I'm gonna be the high man on this one because I went 2 stars.
Holy shit! Wow, absurd, Jenny.
I know.
Massively overrated.
Well, look, the manscaping really got over with me.
Yeah.
And Jason Jordan getting his ass beat.
Yeah, added to the match. No pubes in the match, just like I like it.
It's a boost.
But if we were doing wrestling chicken salad, our ratings would just be getting buried. Anything that breaks a star is you're a fucking idiot. Sorry, I just had a PTSD flashback to the last time I was on that show and had the audacity to give a Disco Inferno Lashley Rue famous Couillon above 2 stars rating. Anyway.
Well, they're in for a treat because I'm doing my favorite show of all time on that show. So.
So you finally got them to come around on it, huh?
Well, see, I was hesitating on it because.
Oh, you came around.
Yes, because I don't want to sit around and listen to anybody shit on my favorite show for a couple of hours. So I'm
what
like,
are you gonna do? I mean.
I told him, I was like, is that y'all's plan? Because that's not fun for me and I'm not doing that. So if y'all want to have fun with this show, we can do that. But I'm not going to talk shit.
It'd be much better if nobody on that pay-per-view had any hair on their body, I think. It'd be much more revered.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We needed more manscaping. Right?
I like this match. I thought the Luchasaurus Dragons looked pretty good. better than their fucking title win, at least. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But the last match that they had. So I like the finish. It was quick and snappy, and I like the post match. 2 stars.
All right. As Tim said earlier, we get a post-match segment where the vaudevillains come in and attack the Dragons, seemingly to set up the rematch that we were told about earlier. So, building to that. After this, we head backstage and see that Bull doesn't want CJ Parker to embarrass himself and tells him that he needs to whip his ass for the greater good, essentially.
What a line.
Wow.
He needs to maim him for the greater good. So trying to manipulate CJ into getting his ass kicked, I guess.
I wonder how much effort it takes to manipulate CJ Parker.
We're seeing that Bull Dempsey is quite the mastermind, honestly, in this run of episodes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he's more than just a hairy man in a singlet.
A non-manscaped
He's making the magic happen, right? He kind of made his feud with Corbin, so now
Puppet
he's
master.
So he's
master puppeteer on the stage of fools.
They don't have writers. Look, they got to do this shit themselves.
The stage of coullions.
Yes.
They have writers.
What was so bad that made me question?
Show's completely improvised.
Yeah. Oh, it was the speaking of coullions, the Marcus Louis stuff made me throw out the entire notion that they even had writers.
Awesome. Well,
we'll see if that changes in the new year. Hopefully they hired a writer.
We'll see in this next match in quotation marks, as we see Carmella come out. Enzo and Cass intro Carmella. They put her over. Bada bing, hottest chick in the ring. I could not tell what the fans were chanting something. I feel like they were chanting Blue Pants because that's who we're about to see. I think, but I wasn't really sure.
Yeah.
Renee, so they
this is again, Renee is on her shit on this
I lost my shit.
So yes, Blue Pant comes out, Renee says, "If you don't take responsibility for yourself, Magneto, then I will." Which I was hoping y'all would be able to explain that to me, because I don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
I can explain this.
Yes.
So she says that she interviewed Blue Pants backstage before the match and asked her, what's your strategy? What's your game plan, Blue Pants? You haven't won your last couple outings, but you're getting another chance. What are you going to do, to pull it around? And all Blue Pants had to say was, to repeat your quote just now, Jake, if you will not take responsibility for yourself, Magneto, then God help me, I will. This is an actual quote from an X-Men comic from 1993.
Of course it is.
I didn't recognize it right away, but it was one of those, like, it's so specific that, like, it has to be, and I'm like, okay, it's probably from one of the movies, right? So I figured it's probably from one of the, like, actual X-Men movies, and I Googled it, and no, it was not, but eventually I determined it was from a particular comic that, I'm not going to call it a famous issue. It's sort of a deep cut, honestly. Like, I don't know. I feel like any comic from 1993 would be a deep cut from somebody on commentary.
Yeah, I feel less bad for not getting it. Like,
yeah. Like, this, believe me, you're not. I think you're like most of the world in your complete bafflement here. So I guess there was a thing online at the time where Blue Pants looked like, and I would agree, looked like she was wearing a generic X-Men uniform. Because they do have these, like, there's a thing, like, in the comics where it's like the blue on the yellow is just sort of a generic, like, when somebody, like, doesn't have a real costume or, like, first joins. It's kind of like a trainee jumpsuit sort of thing. And she does sort of look like that. And I think people kind of ran with it. And I don't know. I feel like Renee was just spending a lot of time on Tumblr back then. Like probably just retweeting thirst traps or something, and or the Tumblr equivalent of that, and came across this absolute nonsense blue pants fandom of like 7 people probably, who are themselves on Tumblr. And yeah, that's what I make of this. So shame on you, Jake, for not recognizing the culture of 2015 online fandom.
Renee's going over my head.
Yeah. Shame on you for not picking up quotes from Uncanny X-Men Volume 1, issue 304.
I'll be better, I promise.
I'll expect much better from you next time.
All right. So this match, I didn't really count as a match. It was just kind of, so Mella is like thrashing around.
It was a Professor X quote, by the way. Professor X said that to Magneto.
Right. Professor Blue Pants. Slow thrashing by Mella until Enzo is up on the apron. She hits him off the apron, which is just enough of a distraction for Blue Pants to roll her up into a small package and get the win. And so, of course, she's pissed off at Enzo and starts beating him up after the match. So continuing Enzo's failed attempts to impress Carmella. And that was really the whole point of this match, and seems to be what they're rolling with these this merry band of coullions.
I don't know. I think this was a huge upset, right?
Right. Yeah.
Blue Pants gets her first win, and now she can go back and join the X-Men. A winner, and not a loser.
Yeah, I think she. Yeah, I think she proved her place on the team.
She did. I gave her 1 star. Yeah.
Right. I assume it's going to be the beginning of a Goldberg-like winning streak for Blue Pants here in NXT.
I gave her 1 star on paper, 5 stars in my heart.
There you go.
All right. So, yeah, that was that. But we head to our next match, which is going to be CJ Parker, who's to be facing Baron Corbin. We saw this a minute ago as Bull convinced them they need to go get maimed for the greater good. His sign says, "You can take my sign, but you cannot take my spirit." The match itself, we get snake eyes from Corbin, big boot, end of days, end of CJ Parker. It appears my notes have an ellipses as the rating. I just put dots apparently for this one.
3 dots.
So,
it's a 3-dot match.
Yeah, 3-dot match.
Professional.
You do the conversion.
I love how our unique rating system has organically grown out of this project.
It's sorted by rating. If you have an Excel spreadsheet like I do, track this. It's just like
symbols.
0 to 5, dud, ellipses, question mark, NA, incomplete.
Not a real match. Not a real match.
My rating was a random X-Men quote, so at that.
It's an entire issue of
whatever.
The Juggernaut YouTube video from 2005. That's my rating.
My sexuality is the Juggernaut parody video on YouTube. We need.
Corbin does speak, which have we heard him speak up to this point? I feel like no.
No, I don't think so.
No.
And oddly, his first quote is, "Oh, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
It's a real meta episode of NXT.
Okay.
Are we gonna do this? Is what he yells at Bull, and they actually they lay hands. They start slugging it out, and the crowd though was very quiet. I was kind of bummed for them because I feel like they built this pretty well, but the crowd kind of didn't react to it super. I don't know. I thought maybe the crowd, like you could tell they were looking for like, oh, finally the two Titans are having it out, and the crowd's just kind of sitting on their hands. which is kind of disappointing for them. It's a bummer. But Bull kind of begs off, and yeah, like like I said, I've been liking this, okay, but it just didn't feel like that moment hit the way that they wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Did you guys read it that way?
No, yeah, like why did they pull them apart? I don't know. I feel like all this build just got kind of wasted.
Right. I think they needed to tease this out a little bit more. It's not like we've got a fucking takeover in 2 weeks or something. I mean,
yeah.
next takeover is not going to be for a minute. And if they're trying to build these guys into an actual feud that you can put on one of those premium live events, I don't know what to call it at this point, then you know, you got to keep us on edge, Jenny.
Yeah,
a little bit more.
It just looked lame. You know, it's not the idea; it's just the execution.
It did look. It was like a lame pull apart sequence.
Yeah, like it to me, it's riding so much on. You could tell they want the crowd to just like explode, like they're finally hitting each other, and they just don't. It's, I don't know. I wonder if they'll continue it or if they'll just kind of, you know, lay off since it didn't work. I don't know. But Regal's talking to Sami backstage about before he gets interrupted by Curtis Axel again, who says that he wants to recharge his career. And he said, was this a real stat that he says he's beaten Cena and Triple H? I mean, I assume it probably is in some kind of bullshitty way, but that is a wild piece of trivia. It's true that Curtis Axel has beaten Cena and Triple H. I don't know.
I think the Triple H one is legit. Isn't that when Triple H was dicking around with Lesnar in all those matches, and it was sort of, this was something like between Lesnar rematches or something like that, where Triple H was like still injured from Brock breaking his arm or whatever at WrestleMania.
So what you're telling me is that he beat him with no qualifiers or anything, would not make it legitimate. Total
clean win over game. I don't know about the Cena. I mean, wasn't Heyman managing Curtis Axel for a minute?
Yeah.
So it just, yeah.
Right. Just seems.
He probably got the pin over Cena in like a 30-on-1 handicap match or something on Raw.
Right. Like, I'm sure it happened. It just sounds insane when you say it out loud. But he's like an aggressive male suitor stalking a woman with Regal. Like, he's just, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, hey, Curtis, leave the fuck alone. Like, so he's like stalking him. He's stalking Regal.
This is the NXT equivalent of that meme with the guy at the club shouting in the woman's face.
Yes. And Regal is the woman.
Regal is, all right, we do
Curtis Axel is the Gronk lookalike guy.
The way too uncomfortably close, bro. In William Regal's grill.
So Regal has to give it. He's like, okay, you could have a, you know what? You want a match? You could have a match with Itami next week. And, you know, you could be some, D-level main roster talent that comes in to put our guys over. Enjoy it. Curtis Axel.
PTBNXT Nation, I'm serious. I need that Photoshop, please.
Hey.
Please.
Somebody get Matsu's on the line.
All right. The artist himself.
All right. Now we head to a Charlotte in-ring promo. The crowd is chanting something. I couldn't really tell, but she shuts them down again by saying, no one chants when the most genetically superior diva is speaking, which is a bit of an awkward line. But she says Sasha is great, but she's beat her twice, which leads Sasha and Becky to come down to the ring to try and beat her up. But our hero Natty comes to the rescue and causes the heels to bail. So, Jenny, how did you feel about the most genetically superior diva having to be bailed out by Natty?
It was real dumb. Real dumb. I guess they want to do a tag match.
Yeah.
And there's no other women.
All right.
Blue Pants is back with X-Men. Can't have her.
She's back at the.
She's back at headquarters. Yeah. So I mean, I guess. I mean, it's lack of options. Who else would you put with her?
Right. Yeah.
Summer Rae.
Mm.
Emma.
Yeah, there's always Emma.
I don't know. That might be fun.
That would actually be better.
Yeah.
You know what? That would be preferable. Like,
she's just too silly. She's just too silly for Charlotte, you know?
Well, she is, but at the same time, bless her heart, but Natalia is like a bad penny you can't get rid of. She just, like, just when we think we're done with some Natalia stuff, she's like, hey, remember me? I'm back. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, she's gonna give you some good matches, but at the end of the day, do we care? Not really.
Yeah, this seemed like them putting together like, okay, let's put together like a tag thing to kill some time until we figure out where we want to go next with Charlotte and company. So, yeah. All right, we now head to Sami, he sends us a video, I guess from his house or whatever, that is taken on like a digital camera from 2001. The quality was just complete dog shit. It looked like like you'd watch CNN or something in like 2005, and there would be the people like reporting from Iraq or whatever, and they were taking it on like whatever the 2005 equivalent of FaceTime was, and it just looked like there were 6 total pixels. Like it's dog shit camera from Sami here. He needs to up his equipment.
Well, he's Canadian.
Right. Yeah. Well, and from Quebec at that. So
I wonder how many floppy disks it took to fit his video on.
Plus, I'm sorry, when my son sends me videos from his iPhone, whatever the fuck, it still looks like this. So I don't know. I feel like it's just an iPhone thing.
I'm gonna throw a flag on that one.
Right. It's a not so subtle iPhone dig. Big droid.
I'll send y'all these videos he sends. It does. It looks like shit. So I don't know.
Well, either way,
to suggest the operator may have something to do with it, but
you think a 12-year-old boy don't know how to operate a phone?
Well, okay, so it's not that. It's actually once it arrives in your droid ecosystem, it has to be filtered by a bunch of nonsense logic that can't interpret the sophisticated superiority of iPhone. Yeah.
He's trying to transfer from a Canadian droid.
It just automatically drops like 18,000 pixels.
But he's very somber and shocked that KO, who was supposed to be his friend from back in the day, would do that to him, but says he'll be back. And he's also like standing in a snowy driveway, I guess. Going back to the Canada thing. I assume he's in Canada.
Yeah, it's Christmas, New Year's Day or whatever.
Yeah.
The Quebecois Christmas coming soon to Hallmark. Can't wait.
Nobody has sex in that.
Nobody has sex. Yeah, I guess not. It is a Hallmark movie.
Oh man.
In Canada.
That one got me good.
Sorry.
All right. So
no, wait. It's a Quebecois New Year because it's a sequel.
Road to Toronto. Sami coming back down to Florida on his motorcycle. Anyway.
Boy.
All right. We now see his assailant, Kevin Owens, sit down with Renee for a face-to-face interview, or at least we think it's going to be. She goes pretty hard at him. She accuses him immediately of stealing Sami's moment, and he just gets up and says, if you think I stole his moment, then maybe I should leave, and he just walks away. And I continue to just like how weird and quiet he is. Like, he just doesn't want to, like, if they piss him off, he's like, whatever, I'm not talking later. I'm digging this Kevin Owens so far.
I continue to enjoy how ineffective of a journalist Renee Young is.
Right.
Right. The 45-second interview. Just, you know what? I'm just gonna leave.
Really warms up the interviewee by So how you doing? Hot. Why'd you steal his moment? He's like, all right, I didn't come here to be put on trial.
Stand for this kangaroo court, Renee Young.
Fucking X-Men quotes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I dug KO here. I thought he's establishing himself well. But I don't know if they set this up early in the show that our main event was going to be a tag match here. I know, Jenny, before we move on, did you have anything to add on KO and Renee?
No, he was good. She's terrible, but yeah, no, he's. He kind of said more than he would have said in the interview just by walking out of it. So, that's a good move.
Yeah, you can say that much for sure.
He's like, fuck Sami and his shitty phone.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, like I was saying, our main event is going to be the Ascension versus Finn and Itami, which I don't know if they said anything about it before, but I can kind of see where this is probably going to go. But they tell us here on commentary that Itami is the Flair of Japan, which seems, I mean, I know he's probably kind of a big deal, but that seems a little...
What?
Little seems heavy. Like a lot.
Seems a little heavy. Yeah. Also, I feel like Flair could be the Flair of Japan.
Right?
Right? Shit.
But Finn is super over already. The crowd is super into his entrance, his whole deal. He's getting over quickly. I enjoy their offense, Finn and Itami. Quick, they chain together things really well with the kicks and all that stuff. I like that. They kind of dominate the Ascension, which is an interesting dynamic for an Ascension match, because usually we see them kind of come out and chug along with their slow, shitty offense, which we'll get there, don't worry. But Finn gets the uppercut off the apron, which I thought was a really sick spot, killer bump by him. We go to a break and we come back, and now we get into the Ascension, their trademark boring-ass offense, headlocks, really slow stomps and just boring shit. I don't know what else to say about them. It's like they are like the wrestling commentary team. I don't even know any more ways to shit on them, but they're just boring. But Finn comes back with a Pele kick, hot tag to Itami, sick guillotine move. I didn't know what you would call that by Itami, but that was cool. But aside from the long, terrible Ascension Heat segment, I'm kind of digging it anytime Finn and Itami are on offense here. And it kind of feels like they're building to a finish that we haven't always got. And Itami smacks a kick to Victor's face for the win. So they built to it whenever Finn and Itami were on top, but I just feel like that middle section kind of killed the momentum of the match. It kind of made it feel a little bit disjointed, but I still ended up going 3 on it just for how good I thought Finn and Itami were, despite I feel like it's a credit to them, despite the shittiness of the Ascension, that they were to pull this much of a match out. But another big win for them, and I'm starting to wonder how long Finn is going to stick with Itami, because I feel like he's already looks like he's ready to go on to bigger things. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Finn was really good in this. Everybody else, not so much. Honestly, it was like he worked the whole match by himself. I just feel like everybody else is doing nothing in this, and Finn is just flying all over the place. So it looks like he is more saddled with Itami than he is teaming with him. Honestly, it's like the Enzo to his Cass. Maybe not that bad, but
Wow. Brutal.
We haven't seen much from him, and I don't know. I just wasn't super impressed. I did 2.5 on this. Tim?
So I think it's appropriate, given our commentary around, the perception differences between the face tag team here, that they played the little this little clip, I guess, from TakeOver backstage of Finn in full on demon mode, and I think this should be our thumbnail for the episode. Is just Hideo Itami looking at his much more popular tag team partner in complete disbelief, because that was probably my favorite part of this match and this team, this pairing. To tell you the truth, So Jake, 3 stars. Jenny, 2.5. I fucking buried this match at 2.25 stars.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, it was.
Look at me.
Okay.
I got more
Honestly,
snowflakes than Sammy's driveway right now.
Yeah, I have the last line of my notes for this match just says whatever.
Mine says my God. Yeah.
My God.
My God.
It's appropriate, right?
Terrible.
I will say that while the Ascension's offense does suck and is very plotting, I do like the old school heel tag team strategy where they're utilizing quick tags to really press their advantage. I do question the wisdom of having Finn play face in peril here. I think maybe Itami would be better in that role. Certainly he'd be better suited than standing on the ring doing nothing for the better part of the match, waiting for the hot tag when really your hot tag guy is in there getting his ass kicked. So that seems a little ass backwards.
Yep.
The other thing that bothers me, and this is it's so dated now, and it's trivial to the point that I almost questioned even pointing it out, but Itami does this spot where he keeps teasing the GTS, Punk's old finisher, which the fans go crazy for every time he sets up for it, and they don't do it. They just tease it. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that they need to either shit or get off the pot with that. Just either let him do the move or don't. I mean, for fuck's sake, let's. I hate all the CM Punk, all the like, oh, is he coming back? Oh, or do they? Oh, it's a signal, you guys. Like all the just fucking meta shit around that. I'm so. This many years later, it just has aged so fucking badly that it like triggered a very aggressive response in me. I also think this match has a super weak finish.
Yes.
Tommy just kicks whichever Ascension guy in the face, and that's that. So
yeah, when they've been kicking him in the face the entire match.
Right.
I mean, yeah, really, it's that whole, I don't know. I always have this weird. I'm of two minds with like very strike based offense type, strong style stuff where. On the one hand, it's like, oh, you're watching one of those matches. God, it's so stiff. Holy shit, they're really laying into each other. And on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know. This kind of feels like fake MMA. Just if I wanted to watch like guys throw bombs at each other, I would watch actual MMA. So, in the context of a wrestling match, the more I see of that sort of thing is just the more it takes me out of it. Kind of some of the same problems I have with like a Nakamura, who we're some years from seeing, but I guess stay tuned. We'll get there. If we're not all dead by then. So
we will be.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, my rating is 2.25/ whatever. Let's get Finn away from Itami, and I don't know what we do with Itami at this point. Try to heat him back up somehow. Is it possible? All things are possible in a Quebecois New Year. Jenny and Jake.
Yeah, I think you just need like a feud. You just need somebody to, like, if somehow he got put with Neville, like, I don't think that's gonna happen, but I feel like Neville could turn anybody.
He could turn anybody, probably, yeah.
Say that again. All right. But overall, this one, this episode, I thought was a bit of a step down from the other real episode that we watched that wasn't a Christmas special. There was some storyline development, I guess, sort of. I liked the main event okay, but surely wasn't as good as the two other feature matches that we saw earlier. So I'm going to take this one down to a 4 out of 10. So yeah,
this one was, I I don't know. It was kind of weird because it wasn't really tedious to watch. But then at the end of it, I was like, dude, like nothing happened. Like
Mm.
Right.
literally, like
But-
it felt like
Mhm.
it did feel like a waste of time. So I'm doing 3.5.
Right. And like simultaneously felt like nothing happened, but there were like 20 segments
Yeah.
somehow too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 sounds about right for me too. I think it's telling that our unrated clip show Christmas episode was probably better than this.
Right.
Just from a watchability standpoint. I don't know. Do we take into account it's New Year's Day? Everyone's hungover. No one's trying to watch fucking NXT on WWE Network. But then again, it's on demand, so there's sort of no excuse for it. But yeah, it's we're not off to a hot start here in 2015.
But the counterpoint would be, like you said, the clip show, which is literally them just throwing together shit, like
Is better,
filming
yeah.
Neville talking to his mom.
Uh-huh.
Was, probably
Tyler
more
Breeze
entertaining.
phoning in a promo
Mhm.
and Bailey watching Triple H matches in the back.
Right. And then a banger match to end, and we're like, oh yeah, I can dig this. But
Mhm.
yeah. All right, so we're in 2015. Let's get to our awards. Best match, I kind of tied, but I guess I'm going to go with Neville KO just on the newness of it as my best match.
I was trying to remember what was my rating. No, so mine would have to be Sasha and Charlotte.
Yeah.
Sasha and Charlotte for me too.
All right. Worst match, I think I'm going to go Ascension versus Enzo and Cass. I guess it's the closest thing to a kind of a, I don't know. There's so many like matches that were, like Tim says, the ones that break the rating system. So it really could be any of those.
Yeah, just pick your Ascension match, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with the Ascension and Enzo and Cash. Other than the various non-competitive enhancement talent matches that we had, which you just again put those through a star rater generator, and I don't even think they belong in consideration for best or worst.
Yeah. Those coullions. Sorry. Rising, I have Finn and KO. Were like clearly the standouts that are on the upswing right now. Becky, I'd probably throw in too.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, Blue Pants.
Blue Pants, definitely.
Right. The meteoric rise.
Yes.
Blue Pants.
Do we want to put Baron Corbin on there?
Do we
Why
want
not?
to?
Do we want to? Do
Are we
have to?
gonna?
Sure.
All right.
Let's do it. Anybody else?
Baron Corbin, if you will not take responsibility for your inexplicable push, we will.
Maybe Corey for his average commentary that seemed good compared to.
Rich Cobb.
Not a bad idea.
Right.
Sure.
All right. Descending, and we should just call the following category descending in honor of the Ascension.
Yes.
The descension.
Descension.
So they're on it. They're a lock always. But even at this point, I feel like they're not only, I mean, we've never liked them, but I think even in the eyes of the company or the way they're presented, they're kind of becoming an afterthought. So there's that. I'm trying to think of who else. I don't know. Help me out here.
Renee did not have a good outing.
No.
Actually, she had an amazing non sequitur and totally biffed a big time interview. So it's a real mixed bag for her. Local teleporter is certainly falling down the card.
Right, untitled enhancement.
What about the vaudevillains?
Yeah,
they still have some heat though.
Yeah, they're still.
They like attacked. They're just doing like a very slow burn with that rematch, I guess.
Yeah, they kind of held serve. I didn't feel like they really fell or got better. They're just kind of there.
Lateral, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Not too many people I feel like
No.
descended. You know, it's like a lot of
Maybe
people
just because
yeah,
he should be
Yeah.
better.
every time he shows up with Finn, he's just gonna keep falling.
Yeah.
All right. MVP, I think I'm gonna go with KO just because he had a really good match and also just like his presence has been real cool. I enjoyed all of his kind of interview and promo segments and his match, and he's just a cool new addition to the promotion.
Oh, I'm gonna go Charlotte on this. She had a
Right.
fantastic match and some good promos. So she's the champ.
Right. Right.
I'll go with Owens just for having a very strong presence and kind of dictating what the top of the story, what the top of the card is going to be, and what the story is going to be for the next several weeks to months of programming.
All right. LVP, I think my LVP is going to be the statement, wear the knee brace on the uninjured leg. It's going to be my LVP.
Oh my
the show.
God.
Or maybe tall haired.
Tall hair.
Tall haired
Tall-haired
teleporter.
local competitor.
I'm going to Tommy.
Mm.
Flair, man.
My LVP is going to be Sami Zayn's camcorder from 1997.
It's a video that got lost in translation between Canadian cell phones and yeah. All right, best moment. I kind of had Neville's mom as my best moment.
Oh.
Neville's whole spiel, but I'd probably more seriously the Neville KO interaction that we opened up with on the very first one.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
You know, you wouldn't be a footballer like all Geordies do.
Gotta love a good public shaming.
It really is. Let's see. Probably Blue Pants beating Carmel.
Oh my! No, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Right.
No. I mean, I'll go. I think I'll say to get it down to an actual moment. Would be Owens powerbombing Neville on the hardest part of the ring.
Yeah.
That was pretty sick. William Regal no-selling Curtis Axel's up there too.
To recharge my career. Leave me alone. Tool rag. See, like every British person, it's a British bulldog.
Right.
Right. Well, that's another PTBNXT in the books, right? Yeah. Good for us.
Yeah.
Put us over. What do we have going on, Tim? What do you have? What's in the hopper?
Oh hell, I don't know. Subscribe to this podcast network if you are not already. Tons of great wrestling content, and really the standard bearer of Place V Nation here, Place V Nation Wrestling, do another show on this network. It is called Talking WCW. That's also with Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Not with Jake though, but with Greg Phillips in our third seat over on that show. It's a monthly / semi monthly, similar frequency, quarterly. It has a somewhat similar cadence to PTB NXT. Irregular is what I mean by that. So check that out if you're a WCW fan. Our most recent episode was covering the life and times of Eddie Guerrero with 3 really awesome Eddie matches from his time in WCW. You can find me as well on the sister network called Pop Goes to the Couch, where we've pretty much wrapped up our coverage of the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus and pulling double duty Peacemaker on HBO Max. got spoiled for the finale, a major moment in that Peacemaker finale that I'm still livid about, but still had a good time with the boys talking that season finale. So that is on, again, Place Me Nation Pop. And of course we have the North-South connection as well, which some more great wrestling content, where I do a non-wrestling themed show over there with JT Rosero and a rotating guest each and every time. Jenny, you were on a very recent edition of this show. It's called 9021 No So, going through chronologically, episode by episode, the original Beverly Hills 90210, JT and myself. So we're going to be, closing in on the end of the first season here before too long. That drops every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on scheduling. So if you're a fan, do listen and reach out to us if you want to be a guest. We do need guests. We need to get that booked up. Got slots available for season 2. Again, going to be coming sooner than you probably think, sooner than I think, at least. And Jenny can tell you about some of the shows we do together on the feed that she curates. Beyond that, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Syke68, CYKE68. Hit me up on the Twitter where we can complain about the Wordle. Jenny, take it away.
So my podcast feed's called The Jenny Position. Tim is on a show called Talkin' Pop, which hopefully will be back very soon as well. And he was on an edition of Freak Out Drive-In recently where we watched Anaconda. Very appropriate to my life and times where I live in Florida. And I think Tim's going to be on an episode of another one of my shows called You Heard About Pluto coming up.
We booked it.
Yeah, we booked it, didn't we?
We booked it.
I was just like, get all my Tim shit in. So, and so on the North-South Connection, I have 2 shows, TNA Never Dies and the Extreme 3-Way Dance going through ECW. And you can follow me on Twitter and my Facebook page at Jenny Position.
Very good. As for myself, you can find me on this here feed, the Place to Be Nation Wrestling feed, doing Highway to the Impact Zone. My buddy Logan. We've kind of switched to a looser format, doing a little more live watching, which I always enjoy. And we also do YouTube Roulette, where we watch random matches and talk over them, which is also a live watch pod. And on the North-South Connection, you could find me every 2 weeks doing the Ruthlessly Aggressive podcast, going through the year 2002, but almost just like we just on this pod got to 2015. I'm almost to 2003. So check that out. But yeah, that wraps us up for PTBNXT. I guess the only thing I can really say is if you won't take responsibility for yourself, Magneto, then I guess I goddamn will, or whatever the quote is. But we will see you next time, you bunch of coullions.
PTB NXT has left the building. I'm blue, I've been deed, I've been died, 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 I've been deed, I've been died. I'm blue, I've been deed, I've been died, 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 I've been deed, I've been died. belt.